Alright, this is Vegeta8259 again, and this is part 1 of the high-grade Universal Century Sinanju review. And, the people have spoken, and they wanted me to go ahead and review it now. But, I honestly thought there were going to be a lot more people that wanted me to review it now, but it was actually kind of close. There were a lot more of you that wanted me to wait until December when the decals came out than I thought there were going to be. But, the people who wanted it now just barely won out, so here it is. Anyway, this is the assembled, unpainted, actually, that's a lie, sorry. This is the, almost what it's going to look like straight out of the box. I did paint the gold parts, because I got to thinking, if I really didn't want to use these foil stickers, because I just don't like them at all. Not these in particular, I just don't like foil stickers in general. But then again, I thought that it just wouldn't look very good if all these black parts were just solid black. And then it hit me, why don't I just do the same thing I did with my Kshatriya review and dust off my rarely used Gundam markers and just paint in those lines really quick with the Gundam marker. So that's what I did. And anyway, and don't worry about that, the Gundam marker will come off really easy when I get around to actually painting it in December. Okay, first, before I actually get into the kit, here is the box for those of you who haven't seen the unboxing. And just as a few size comparisons, it's pretty much the same exact area face-wise as a standard master grade box. However, it's a little bit bigger than God Gundam's box. I have another box here for comparison, the high grade Sazabi. As you can see, Sazabi's box is like half an inch bigger than Sinanju's, which is probably why Sazabi costs 200 yen more than Sinanju. Anyway, inside that box you are going to get a unassembled Sinanju model kit in 1:144 scale. You'll get a manual and some kind of an ad that you'll see in the unboxing video. You also get a sheet of foil stickers which covers pretty much all of the gold accents that you see here, as well as a green sticker for the scope on the beam rifle and a green sticker for the mono eye. You also get a shield, a beam rifle. You get 5 hands, 2 closed fists that you see here on Sinanju. Let's see, 2 beam saber hands, and then 1 trigger finger hand. You get 2 beam sabers with clear yellow beams. You get, actually they're on the back of the shield, 2 retracted beam axes and 2 extended beam axes. And you get 2 sets of blades for each. You get these long, clear yellow blades, and then the short, kind of actual beam axe blades. You get a grenade launcher, which can be mounted on the shield or the beam rifle. And you get a small clip that allows you to mount the beam rifle on the back skirt. So, let's get into articulation. I have a feeling this is going to be a 2-part review. Anyway, the head is on a ball joint. So it can go up about that far. It can't really look down at all, just because he's got this piping thing up under his neck. Let's see, I wonder if he can turn 360. Yeah, he can turn his head 360, although if you plan on painting yours, I wouldn't suggest doing that because his head is touching all over this collar piece, so that's bound to scratch paint off. One minor modification I did to Sinanju was on the V-fin here. There was an annoying little tab on the end of it, just like there's that annoying little tab on the V-fins of almost every high-grade Gundam, and I just clipped that off. No real biggie. Let's see, move on to the arms. There's a joint inside the torso which lets the shoulders go back and forth and lets them go up and down a little bit. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, the arms can go 360. I thought the backpack was going to get in the way, but it doesn't. Anyway, arms go 360. This piece of armor right here can come out about that far. The arms can come out about that far. There's rotation below the shoulder. You get a single jointed elbow, which is going to bend about 90 degrees. And all the hands, all 5 of them, are ball joints, and then the hands themselves don't move. Although I do really like the fact that they give us closed fists for this kit. I really wish Bandai would do that more often. And it looks like they are starting to do that more often, because I think the Goof Custom, which comes out next month, has closed fists as well. And the Real Grade did as well, too. Anyway, you've got a ball joint for the waist, so it allows for a little bit of front and back movement, a little bit of side-to-side movement, and I haven't tried to rotate them 360 yet. Let's see. Oh, yep, looks like we got 360 rotation. But you will want to be careful, because these the cables that are around his waist are fine, but these cables that run from the front skirt to the back skirt, those feel kind of loose. They haven't fallen off yet, but they just don't feel very secure. Anyway, onto the skirt armor. The front skirts are molded as one piece. However, like newer Master Grades, you can clip them in half to make them move separately. They can come out up about that far, although it is a nice touch that even though they do move up this far, the little energy cable here still stays connected, so that's a nice touch. The back skirts are actually the exact same way. They're molded as one piece, and you can clip them in half, and they can move up until they hit the propellant tanks back here. The side skirts are on a peg. They can go up about that far, and they can rotate back and forth a little bit. Let's see, the hips, there is no kind of rotating joint for the hips like there was on Unicorn Gundam. The ball joints for the hips are just molded in place. But the hips are on a ball joint, so the legs can come up about that far, and they can go back about that far. And they can actually come out about that far as well. I wasn't expecting them to come out this way as far as they do. The knees can bend about a full 180. However, there's kind of a gap right here, but oh well, doesn't really bother me that much. Let's see, these thrusters right here on the side of the leg can also move. However, you're not going to be able to rotate them just by trying to rotate it. You'll actually have to pull this out a bit. It's on a poly cap. You'll just have to pull that out to be able to rotate it. And again, like the head, if you're planning on painting your Sinanju, you're really going to have to be careful with this, because I can easily see all of this paint getting scratched up by rotating this thruster. In fact, I mean, you have to almost pull it all the way out to be able to rotate it. Luckily, I don't really do that very much anyway. The ankles are on a double joint. There's a hinge, which lets them go pretty far forward and back. And then there's a ball joint down in the foot, which lets it go side to side a little bit, forward and back a little bit more. And it can rotate a little bit. It's certainly not going to go 360 just because of the leg design. Alright, backpack. The propellant tanks are each on a ball joint, so they can rotate and wiggle. The big thrusters right here are on a kind of a double peg joint, so they can go down and they can go up, and they can also go side to side all the way up against your shoulder, and then they can go about that far. And the top and bottom parts of the thruster packs can open up like they do on the Master Grade. However, the actual thrusters themselves don't slide out, so these top and bottom parts are the only parts that move on the thruster pack. Let's see, I'm trying to decide if I want to continue or go to part 2. I think I'm going to do some size comparisons and then go on to part 2. So, first size comparison is the high-grade Unicorn Gundam. And as you can see, as far as about head height goes, they're about the same height. Obviously, Sinanju is going to be a bit taller because of these big thrusters on the back. But definitely about evenly matched in size. I also want to do a comparison to a 1:144 scale RX-78, just to show you how big these mobile suits from Gundam Unicorn are. This is more or less a standard sized mobile suit, and this is the gigantic proportions of the Unicorn kits. And one last comparison that I think is pretty obligatory. Oops, if I can even get it in the camera frame. Comparison to the Master Grade Sinanju. So yeah, proportion-wise, they actually look pretty similar, which is definitely a good thing, I think. Bandai's team definitely did a good job of capturing the Master Grade likeness in the high grade. They look almost exactly alike, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, when you get up close, you'll see some differences, like the individual pipe segments here and things like that, but overall they are very, very similar, and I think Bandai did a good job on the overall look of the high-grade Sinanju. And you get pretty much all the same accessories that you get with the Master Grade, so that's a plus as well. So, I guess that about does it for part 1 of high-grade Sinanju's review. Now I will take a break and come back for part 2, and we'll go over his weapons and accessories.